Good morning. I'm Rose from Grandma Rose's Open Pantry. By now, most of y'all know who I am. I don't know why I say that every time. I guess for the people that are not just now finding my channel. So today we're going to do something. It's a recipe I found, and it's called Philly Cheesesteak Casserole. I'm altering it just a little bit, but it calls for peppers, onions. It calls for ground beef, but I've got some roast that was left from the other day, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cut this beef roast up really fine, and I'm gonna use that. I thought that would be better than ground beef. It's got heavy cream. I don't have heavy cream, so I'm using evaporated milk, seasoned salt, hot sauce, Worcestershire, and eggs, and garlic. And I think that's all. So I'm just going to cut my peppers. Now, I've shown y'all before how I do my peppers. I just stand them up on end, and I cut them around like this. Cut like quarters. Just quarter it, kind of. All right, I got 4 pieces there, and I always, if this is good, which it is, I always keep that little piece right there. So it says cut it. Sorry for my glove. I cut my finger yesterday, and it's still wanting to bleed a little bit, even with the Band-Aid on it. So I thought I better wear a glove. It just says cut it in bite-sized pieces. And it calls for green bell pepper, but Roy and I don't like, we don't prefer the green. We prefer the sweet peppers. And this is what I have in the fridge. So this is what I'm using. So I'm just cutting it in. Cutting each one of those quarters in little slices. And then I'll just cut it in bite-sized pieces. And I'll do my onion the same way. And I'll just cut this little piece. I got to be careful not to get the tip of my glove, because these gloves are a little big, and some of the glove is sticking out. So I got to make sure not to cut my glove with my knife. Okay. I'll finish cutting this. I've got my oven preset on 350 degrees. All right, I had part of a little yellow pepper, and then I had the orange. So Roy brought some pimentos in out of the garden, but I'm not going to use pimento today because I want it sweet, and I'll can those pimento peppers. And I'm going to show y'all one day how I make my homemade pimento cheese with my home canned pimento peppers. Now, talk about good. That's good. All right, I'm just dicing or chopping my onions in bite-sized pieces. Okay, that's the end. That's the core. I don't want that. So it calls for half of an onion. So this is a half one, and I cut it in half. Then I cut it once like that, down the middle, and then I'm just cutting little slices and cutting them in bite-sized pieces. Okay. I'm going to chop them a little bit more, because some of them were kind of big pieces. All right, now, my roast has a little gravy in it, but I'm going to keep that in there because I think it'll just enhance it. It'll make it a richer dish. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to push this over to the side, because all of this is going in the same pan. I'm just going to cut it like this in little strips. And then I'm going to cut those little strips into little bitty cubes. Let me cut this one again. It's a little bit thick. And since it calls for ground beef, I want these to be as small as I can get them. Okay. Now, this is already cooked, so I'm not going to have to cook this So in a skillet, I'm going to saute my peppers and onions. And then when they get almost ready, then I'm going to put my roast in. If I was doing ground beef, I would cook my ground beef, and just before it got done, then I would put my onions and peppers and saute them. But since my meat is already cooked, I'm going to just do it right the opposite. I'm going to saute my peppers and onions and then put my beef in it. Okay. I'm so scared I'm going to get the tip of that glove. Now that's fat, and Roxy, my dog, will love that. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to finish cutting this roast up. And it doesn't call for potatoes, but I have a few potatoes, and I'm going to put potatoes in it. Now, this is our low carb that we got out of the garden. So I'm going to just cut these up in little bite-sized pieces, little chunks about like my meat. And I'm going to put those in there. So I'm just taking a recipe and I'm making it my own. So we'll be back as soon as I get all this cut up and I start to saute my peppers and onions. Okay, that's my peppers and onions. And y'all, look what I did. I told y'all when I was cutting the meat, that little old tip got in the way, and I cut it. As long as I don't put it in water, I'm okay, because I got Band-Aids on under this. But y'all, don't I look like I'm fixing to go to surgery with this blue glove? When I put it on, I thought, I do not like this blue. It looks like I'm going into surgery, but hey, I did cut up some peppers and onions. So, I'm going to saute these. And when they get almost done, then I'm going to put my meat in. And while that is going on, honey, if you'll come back over here, we're going to mix up I'm going to go ahead and cut up my little potatoes that I'm going to put in it.
Get it with the chopper. The hand chopper.
Yeah, that was a good idea, honey. Thank you. Yeah. I keep him around for some reason. And there's also a few carrots in here, and I'm going to put them in there. So, when I end up, it may not be a Philly cheesesteak, but but it will. I'm just adding a few extra little things to it. Okay? I want everything to be I want my meat, potatoes, and everything to be about the same size. And these little carrots, I'm going to have to cut them because they're not cooperating. Alright. I'll just do it with my knife. Alright. That was a good idea, honey. Thank you. Okay. Now,
what did you say the name of this dish is?
Philly Cheesesteak Casserole. Alright.
With potatoes and carrots.
With potatoes and carrots.
Okay, Rose.
Yep.
Go for it.
I had a little bit of, just a teeny bit of onions that I had done in my chopper. So I'm going to put them in there also with these. And these are cooking real good back here. I've got them on medium high.
Seems to me it's chuck roast Philly steak.
No.
Look at it.
No.
No.
All right. It calls for 4 eggs, but these are kind of, I got these from my son-in-law, Philip, yesterday when we took their food to them. These are kind of big eggs, so I'm only going to do 3. Okay. He's got some beautiful eggs and some beautiful hens. Okay. All right. I'm going to get my little whisk.
If my granddaddy had gone to the chicken house 70 years ago when I was a kid, and he had seen a blue or a green egg, he'd tossed them out across the field.
He would have. But you get them now, they're called Easter eggers, I think.
Yeah.
And You get pink ones, you get red ones, you get light green, dark green, olive green. You get all kinds. All right. A half a cup of heavy cream. And like I say, I didn't have the heavy whipping cream, so I'm using evaporated milk. All right. There's something in there, but it's a little piece of meat, so it's going to be all right. 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt. I'm going to need my teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of hot sauce, and we like the Louisiana hot sauce. That's what we like. Some of the other has too much of a vinegar taste to it, so this one we really like. And it says 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire, but I'm going to put a whole tablespoon, and a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So, because we like Worcestershire. All right. Now I'm going to mix all this up together. All right. I got some egg on the table. I want to get that up. Oh, garlic. My garlic goes in with my onions, and you can come around here, baby. I'm going to be over here most of the time now. My garlic goes in with my onions and peppers. Okay. All right, now I'm going to add my meat to this, because my peppers and onions were almost done, and they're going to cook 35 minutes in the oven, so they're going to cook some more in the oven. All right, now I'm going to add my potatoes in with this. My pan wasn't hardly big enough. You're right, honey. This may be a chuck roast Philly cheesesteak by the time I get through with it. And I've got to get a bigger casserole dish out. I didn't realize I had this much meat.
You might ought to remind them that that roast has already been cooked. So
oh, yeah,
somebody just catches half of this.
I told them it was left.
I knew you did.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, if somebody just caught this part.
The roast has already been cooked, yes. All right. I'm just going to let this sit here for about 5 more minutes, get all this hot through. Then I'm going to have to change out my casserole dish, because I got this one, and all of this is not going in this one. So I got to get a bigger one out. And I forgot my cheese. It calls for provolone cheese, so I got to get my cheese out. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll put this casserole together, put it in the oven, and I'm anxious to taste of it. So. Okay, my mixture is done. Woo! I almost didn't get my casserole dish, wasn't almost big enough again. Wow. Oh, it's going to be perfect. Y'all look at that, man. Woo. I could eat it just like that. That looks like hash. All right. Now, y'all know me and my pepper jack cheese. It calls for provolone cheese. So I had sliced provolone cheese, and this is about 5 or 6 slices. It says 4, but I think I've got a little bit more than what they said in the recipe, a little bit more mixture. So I'm going to sprinkle this in here, the provolone cheese. All right. It said just tear it in little bite-sized pieces, but I cut mine with a knife. Now, I'm going to kind of press it down in there so that cheese will go down in my casserole, because I'm going to put pepper jack cheese on top. And if it's going to be called Philly cheesesteak, you got to have cheese in it. Roy, when I was cutting up the cheese, he said, "Sure, baby, that's a lot of cheese." I said, "I know, but." All right, now I've got my mixture here. I'm going to pour it over. Now, there's a lot of flavor in this mixture. All right.
Tilt it my way. You have shorted my side over here.
I hadn't. I'm just trying to get, that's what I'm doing now. I'm getting it all. All right. Now, it doesn't say this, but of course it's not. This is my recipe by now. I mean, as much as I've changed it.
Yeah, who else would cook a recipe like this but you?
Oh, me. So this is my Philly cheesesteak casserole recipe. All right. I'm going to put it in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to cook it for 30. I'm going to check it after about 25 minutes. And if it's not quite, if the cheese isn't quite as brown as I want it, I'll cook it another 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll be back.
Looks ready.
Okay, y'all. It's ready. It's done.
Ooh.
It's still hot, real hot.
Look good.
At that. Okay. Philly cheesesteak. I don't know
Casserole.
why they said Philly cheesesteak, because they put ground beef. I put roast. We didn't put steak at all.
Well, roasted steak is just roasted.
Okay.
Look.
It cooked 30 minutes. Ooh, y'all.
I want y'all to know.
Wow. Ooh, look at all that. Look at that cheese.
This is hard work.
Look at that cheese. Y'all look at there.
This is hard work, but somebody has to do it. And Rose makes me do it. So, you know.
You can still see the steam coming up. Oh.
I have to taste of almost every recipe she cooks.
You have to eat my cooking too, don't you?
I do.
All right. This is the first, y'all. I'm going to let you taste first, then I'm going to taste. But you better hurry. Oh, wow.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good, girl.
That hot sauce,
hey,
look
at that
cheese.
Don't waste the cheese. Don't waste the cheese.
No, I love the cheese. That hot sauce I put in there. Y'all.
It's good. Good. Almost edible.
It tastes like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich like you get at the sub shop. I mean, I guess that's the reason they call it what they do. Y'all, this is good. But I'm glad I put that extra cheese on top because it needed that little bit of extra cheese.
I could fill up on that and go 4 or 5 hours before I ate again.
Okay. This is one you gotta try.
Woo.
And I think it'd be just as good with the ground beef as it is with the roast. So, because you really can't tell it's roast except the little chunks of meat. It's good, isn't it? That is really good. You could even put Swiss cheese in it. And Roy would like it with Swiss cheese. He loves Swiss cheese.
That's a good casserole. It's a little different because she's got the stations are different, but that is.
But it tastes like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I mean, you know, without the bread.
I think you did good, darling.
I think I did good.
Good. I think actually you're supposed to say well. I think you did
well. It doesn't matter. No. Okay, y'all. For those of you that watched my video yesterday and saw me cooking all the food for Jenny and Philip and Promise, I talked to her this morning and she said that they are feeling just a little bit better. She said, I don't feel like I'm going to die now. So When you get past the dying stage, then you're on your way up, so you feel better. But
now, you young men out there that hadn't married yet,
hush.
Don't you marry a woman can't cook. And if you slip up and do, get her on to Grandma Rose's
Open Pantry
channel so she can learn.
Okay, I love y'all. Food feeds the family, family feeds the heart, God feeds the soul. This is delicious, y'all. You need to make it.
That's good.
All right. Please share this video, comment, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Always hit that thumbs up button because YouTube likes it when you do that, when you hit that thumbs up.
God bless you and your home.
And they like it when you leave a comment, even if it's just good. Because YouTube looks at all that and it goes into my
algorithm.
My algorithm, and it goes into my money. So.
Yeah, but you're paid off that algorithm.
Yeah, I am. All right. I love y'all. See you next time.